What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Travel Pause RV. If this is your first time here, my name is David, and along with my four-legged traveling companions, May and Rupert, we are learning the RV lifestyle one campground at a time. In today's video, we're going to talk about the diesel heater that I installed here in my camper back in the fall. How well it did over the winter. Did I like it? Would I do it again? Was I afraid that it was going to burn the place down? And we're also going to do some modifications and or upgrades that were all recommended by you guys, the viewers. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, I was just editing this video and I realized that it is going to be a really long video. So I'm going to split this up into two parts. I will release them both on the same day, so you can break it up if you want, or be my guest and watch both of them at the same time. Now, back to the video. I got to show you guys this before we get started today. Check out my cactus. I love this thing. Every May it blooms. It smells absolutely wonderful. The flowers are actually starting to close because it is a cactus. They only bloom at night. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that because I love it when that cactus blooms. I need to get some coffee before we get to working on the upgrades to the diesel heater. See you in a little bit. Let me apologize in advance for the noise. You know, I do live in Florida. It is May and it is hot already. So the air conditioning is on in here. I just can't turn it off. It's just way too hot without running the air. If you guys haven't seen the first video where we actually installed this diesel heater, I will leave a card up top there and a link in the description below. Go ahead and check that video out. I'll wait for you. Oh, hey, you're back. All right, let's get into it. So the location of the diesel heater that I installed is right underneath here in the dinette. So we got to remove all of this, can get to the diesel heater, and I think all the parts that I bought are underneath here too. At least I hope they are. I actually don't remember where I put them. And there we have it. There is our diesel heater. That's the current fuel tank. It's too big to be underneath here, so we're replacing that. The controller, all the wiring, but we'll get all of this out and then I'll explain a little bit on what we're doing. Here are the parts that I've gotten to upgrade this. This is high heat aluminum tape. We've got new fuel line, some fuel stop valves here, new fuel tank. I do have to tell you that this thing looked a lot bigger in the picture. This is only, I think, like a gallon, but we'll make it work. A rivet gun. This is for outside where the exhaust is. Somebody had suggested, I currently have the exhaust screwed in through the skirting of the camper, and somebody suggested using rivets, so I got one of those and I'm super excited to learn how to use this. And another fuel filter. And to give you an idea where we're going to be working on the outside, this is the entrance side of the camper, or the passenger side, and right here behind this back tire is where the exhaust is. You can see the little exhaust back there. Let's see what it looks like underneath there. So this is how it is right now. You'll see here is the exhaust, right, this one that's wrapped. We have the intake, which comes right there. The green lines are the fuel line, which that's going to be replaced, and then right there is where the fuel pump is. We're going to make some modifications to that as well. When I installed this at my sister's farm up in Kentucky, I was running out of time, so I had to get this all taped up because I needed to get back to Florida. I just put regular HVAC tape on there. I didn't expect that it would even make it back to Florida. And not only did it make it back to Florida, it made it through the entire winter. So I was very happy about that. But we're gonna close this area up a little bit better, hopefully, and then also seal it, that high heat tape that I got. So yeah, I'll explain what we're doing as we are going along. So first thing is we gotta get back inside and get the current fuel tank all taken out of there, and then we'll be able to start unhooking the diesel heater. Okay, well, this is a mess underneath here. One thing I did forget that I wanted to also do in this, but I don't know why I totally forgot about it, was I was going to get a 12-volt line to run from the battery up on the tongue, run it all the way under, and then I was going to install a switch here that I could just flip it on instead of having to use this. This is a 12-volt cable that I got that I plug into an AC to DC adapter is what I got at first. But yeah, I totally forgot to get the wire, so I guess I'll have to do an update to the update video. See if I can get this diesel line unhooked without spilling too much diesel. Oh, there we go. So why am I making these changes to the diesel heater if everything worked just fine over the winter? Well, you guys told me to. The way that diesel heaters work, if you don't know, when you first turn them on, they ramp up to full speed. Underneath here is where the heater is, and it just pulls air, cabin air in here, goes over like a radiator, and then vents out into the cabin. All the combustion material and all that is all outside, so you don't have to worry about carbon monoxide. But this thing on high will get to be about 190 degrees Celsius, which, if the Google's is correct, is about 374, 375 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't run this thing on high, but 2 times. First when it's starting up, and then when it's shutting down. And for the most, about 5 minutes, because it gets way too hot in here if that thing is on high for long. Diesel heaters, when they first turn on, they have to ramp up their temperature, so they go all the way full, and then you can adjust the temperature and bring it down. I normally run that thing on low pretty much all the time. And then when you turn them off, you're supposed to ramp the temperature all the way back up again so that it burns off any residual carbon or anything like that. From my understanding, these things can carbon up a lot, so I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and that's pretty much what all of the people who are experts in the diesel heater field do. So I just want to make sure that the wood is protected, and mainly underneath where I had all that tape. That tape is obviously not waterproof, so I'm going to try and waterproof that as much as I possibly can. I've undone the plate here on the fuel pump, and I've actually undone the fuel pump. What we're going to do in here, somebody suggested that I get grommets for right here, and guess what? I forgot them, so we're going to have to do that another day. But I want to try and quiet this box up. When this pump is running, it clicks, click, 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 and it's quiet, but you can still hear it on the inside. So we're gonna line the inside of this with some like sound deadening material and see if that helps. All right, that is all disconnected from the fuel line and the wiring harness. So now we gotta try and get that fuel line off of the actual heater. I had to cut the fuel line because I couldn't get it off, so now I'm gonna undo these screws. Okay, let me pause here for just a minute and realize that taking these nuts off of those studs that are right there, I actually didn't have to do. All those do is hold the diesel heater onto the mounting plate, and as you'll see here in a minute, we're actually taking the heater and the mounting plate out, so I didn't have to do this part at all. Screws, I got these screws off already. Gonna undo these 2 clamps here, hose clamps that hold on the exhaust in the inlet. We got the exhaust off and the inlet, which is right there. There's the inlet, there's your exhaust. I got to get this screw out here. I couldn't get it with this in the way. Here are these screws that we have that somebody gave me the suggestion to use the rivet gun, so that's what we're going to do here. But I got to get these guys out, and we got to take all of this tape off. So I'm going to do that first. We'll get all this tape out, get it cleared off, so that way you can see what's underneath there. So there we have it. We're back down to the bare wood here. I got to tell you, I'm impressed with this 3M HVAC tape. This stuff was really on there. I really had to work hard to get this ripped off of there, so it probably would have lasted a while. But we're gonna spray paint all of this just so it's protected. We're gonna kind of build up like a little wall around the 4 corners and then tape it all with the other high heat tape that I have. There. And there she is. We do have to get the that fuel line off there. I couldn't get it, so I'm going to get a pair of pliers, see if I can get that off of there. What we're going to do, as you can see here, this is not protected, so we're going to spray paint this with that high heat spray paint that I have, clean this up, and then I'm going to put a strip of the high heat tape all the way around it as well to protect the wood. Good to see that it doesn't even look like, I don't know if you guys can see it, probably because my light's in the way, but no burn marks. So all those nasty comments I got about people saying I was going to burn this thing down, I didn't. And if you guys are liking this video so far, go ahead and hit that like button below. It really does help me out. Helps get these videos out to more people so I can grow this channel. We're going to let that dry. In case you're wondering, this is Rust-Oleum High Heat Ultra for grills. Resists heat up to 1200 degrees. So should help a little bit anyway. Here's what we're going to use for the sound deadening part in the fuel box there. We're just going to use some of this Reflectix, or this reflective insulative stuff that everybody uses in their windows and their campers and all that. I'm going to put it on with some Loctite here, and the only reason I'm using this is I had to use it in my house on a project, and there's a lot left, so I just cut out a piece and we're going to use the Loctite to stick it on there, just like that. Back piece. And there we have it. I don't know how well you can see it, but it has got the sound deadening material. And then we'll have to poke a hole through there and up in the corner there for the fuel line. Of course, I forgot the grommets, so whoever suggested that, sorry, I will have to go back and get those. Paint is dry, so we're gonna take this aluminum foil tape and wrap it around, all the way around. That tape is heat resistant to 190 degrees Celsius, which according to the Googles is about 374 degrees Fahrenheit. So that should hopefully help us out. So that's what we're gonna do. Wrap it all the way around. I won't bore you with those details of doing it, but I'll show you when I'm done. And there we have it, all nice and taped up. If nobody has ever seen the inside of a diesel heater, let me show you what it looks like. So air, cabin air comes in here, it blows over, there's like a heat exchanger or a radiator, if you will, in here, and then it blows out hot air. You can kind of see it right there. But let's take the cover off. Dusty. And there we have it. So here's a fan. So when this thing is on, this fan draws in the air here. There's also an internal fan that pulls air in for the combustion. Combustion happens in here. This thing gets hot. Air blows over the top of this and then out the front. That's a glow plug. Since this is a diesel heater, it uses a glow plug when you first turn it on to get the combustion started. And then when you turn it off, it comes back on to burn off any residual diesel that is on the glow plug. This little guy right here is a thermistor or thermometer. It will actually tell you what the temperature of this here is. And then control box, and that's it. I'm not taking it apart all the way. There are plenty of YouTube videos if you want to see what the inside of one of these look like, but that's not for today. Now that we got everything taped up down here, the next thing I need to do is figure out how to use this guy. So I'm going to read the directions and I'll be back. We're going to drill out this hole a little bit bigger so that Mr. Rivet will fit in there. This is the biggest drill bit I have there. There we go. Holy crap, that's hard. And out comes the piece. Now, how good is it? I will admit, I do like it better than having the screws. I'm changing to use the rivets instead of the screws because the dogs like to run underneath here, and Rupert's already caught himself on the screw that was laying or sticking out down here. That's actually pretty good. That's a fun little tool. Y'all should get one. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I should have done it from the bottom up, shouldn't I have? I know, I can already hear in the comments you're doing it backwards. But that's okay. I'm learning. But we'll do the next one from the bottom and see if that makes a difference. Just for you guys. That did not work. So we're gonna have to go the way that I did the other two because that hole right there is too big. It doesn't work because of these clamps that I have. Deforms it like that and it makes it flat on that side, like a, you know, typical rivet. This guy is not wide enough, so the bracket here, the little knob goes right through it. So I need to have the flat part of the rivet on this side. Now that we've got the rivets in place, the next thing is going to be to put the diesel heater back, hook up the exhaust and the inlet, and then we'll start routing new fuel lines. So before I go ahead and put this into the floor, I'm going to attach the new fuel line nice and tight. Now we'll go ahead and feed it back down into the floor and get this part attached back down. Now we're just gonna put the 3 screws back. Now we need to go attach the exhaust, the inlet, and start routing fuel lines to the fuel pump, and then from the fuel pump to the heater. And while I'm thinking of it, I would like to invite all of you guys to hit that subscribe button and be a member of the Travel Paws RV Pack. I would love to have you guys come along on our adventures. In about, I think it's 3 weeks, we're gonna be heading out on a 6-week adventure to Georgia. We're gonna be staying at Red Top Mountain State Park. All the family's gonna be here, and then I'm going up to a private campground, Blue Ridge, Georgia, and I'll be exploring Blue Ridge and also Blairsville. I've got some friends that live up there, so we're gonna hang out and do all sorts of adventures. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button and become a member of the Travel Paws RV Pack. It doesn't cost you anything to hit the button. My battery died in my camera, which is my phone. So I'm using an older one. Hopefully this one works. I got everything hooked up underneath there. The next step now is we're gonna take the Reflectix, build that wall around there, and then line the high heat aluminum tape, whatever that stuff is called. This actually worked out better than I thought. I just kind of got a whole piece to go all the way around just to kind of give it some structure. And now we're going to tape all that up. And there we have it. Yeah, I know those screws are missing. I can't find them. I have to go find new ones. So I'm confident in this. It worked really well with the old setup. This one is more, I think, sturdier. That tape is pretty awesome. The worst part of this whole thing was peeling the back off of all of those strips of tape. Let me just tell you how frustrating that was trying to peel that paper off the back of that tape. But the tape is really thick and really sturdy, so I think it's going to do well. I think we're going to call it a day on this project. We got everything buttoned up, so it looks like it's about to start raining pretty soon. So I'm going to clean up on the outside and have myself an adult beverage because I think I have earned it. So we'll see you guys tomorrow.